Welcome everyone to our community, our money, the entrepreneur in you. My name is Germaine Washington and I'm your host. For today's show, we will be speaking with Sandra Louvier, Director of Glenda and David Regenbaum Center for Entrepreneurship at HCC Northwest College. First place winner of the HCC Business Plan Competition, John Hadley of Specialty Diving, LLC. Third place winner, Reda Hicks of Got Spot, Inc. And Christa Clarke, honorable mention winner with Cubicles to Cocktails. These winners are here to share their stories and tell us all about their businesses. Stay tuned. This will be a great show. Sandra, I'm gonna start with you and John. Sandra, can you tell us about the competition?
Sure. It's the HCC Business Plan Competition, and we're in the 13th year of it. So the 2020 competition started in January, and we had over 111 applicants, well, exactly 111 applicants this year for the competition. So just the chance to be selected to move through it is a win. We selected 26 teams to move through the competition, and then all spring long, they moved through training sessions and one-on-one advising with advisors assigned to each of their teams. And then in May, they submitted their business plans, slideshows, slide decks for presentation, and 1-minute videos. We chose our finalists, and they presented to judges in June. And then we selected our winners, and we had a virtual award ceremony on June 18th and announced our winners. So it's been an amazing spring, especially considering the pandemic.
Well, speaking of the pandemic, how did you pull this off after the pandemic hit? I mean, this is amazing.
It has been something. We selected our teams, and we started our training live on campus like we normally do. So training sessions 1 and 2 were on campus, and then boom, the pandemic hit. Spring break happened, and we were never allowed back into HCC. We've all been working from home, so we pivoted big time. And our training sessions 3, 4, 5, and 6 were all virtual. So it was amazing. We had about 50 advisors and about 30 team members all logging in to do virtual training, and they pivoted and they did it. So we had a 92% graduation rate from the competition. And then we had our top 5 teams all present virtually to judges. And then our award ceremony was virtual as well. So it was an amazing example of how 100 people can pull together, be nimble like entrepreneurs should be, and make something big happen together.
Sandra, that sounds so fantastic and so complex. We're going to get back into more details a little bit later on about that. I want to move on to talk a little bit to the first place winner, John. And I just want you to tell me a little bit about your business concept.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I appreciate you having me. Essentially, I am a commercial diving and marine construction contractor. And the business had already been established in the recent year or so. And the concept was to grow the business and be able to plan for it accordingly, which is just as important as having a business plan. So this business plan has allowed me to lay forth a blueprint on how to make everything move forward from here.
I'm just so interested in the practical side of how you took all this information that you learned and you made it happen for your company.
There's a lot to talk about because it's helped me in a lot of ways, but I think most importantly, it really helped me identify my strengths and weaknesses within my field. You know, what I know, what I'm an expert on, and better yet, what I don't know. You know, where I need outside help from, where I need improvement from. From there, I was able to reach out to the accountants or other people I needed to finish putting the plan together to make sure the numbers were all correct. Because if I'm not one thing, it's an accountant. So while I'm kind of a master in my craft, there were a lot of areas that I needed help and improvement on, and this helped me to identify those.
So now I'm going to ask you this question because it's just like really burning in my mind. Since you're the diving, a diving company, and the pandemic hit, how did you pivot? How did you make all that happen?
It was rough. luckily, we are considered essential services. So the kind of diving we do is not pleasure diving. We do bridge construction, bridge repair, dam repair. So a lot of the nation's infrastructure that is still here, regardless of a pandemic, still has to be maintained. So there was a huge curve in trying to figure out how I'm going to get personnel together, job sites, manned, transportation, everything. We learned a lot in the last 3 or 4 months and how we can do things remotely. Everybody's used to a culture of working in an office, and we have been able to pivot from project managers, non-essential office personnel, working remotely. My field crews are all field personnel, so other than being in the field on a job site, they don't come into the office anymore, and that's probably been our biggest change in the way we do business.
You learned the things that you learned in the competition. How did you put your plan into action since the competition? Because you were the winner. So you must have had a great business plan and learned everything. How did you put all that into action?
Having the COVID hit, I had to mid-business plan shift and adjust the business plan to kind of account for the changing environment that we're working in. The business plan is being implemented. I have hired new full-time and part-time personnel. We've created new divisions within the company to coincide with the business plan and how everything works. And over the next 3 or 4 months, we're going to take the 3rd and 4th steps and start expanding the company even more.
So what other opportunities have you gotten? Sometimes out of, bad things, you can get new opportunities. So what kind of opportunities have occurred for your company since COVID that may have been beneficial, like good coming out of bad?
I think this has been a good opportunity for my company in general to take stock of your employees and really learn who's in it for the long haul, who the dedicated people are, and maybe who your weaknesses are within the employees as well. It has allowed me to structure my business development a lot differently, because a lot of the work that we do is old-fashioned, people on the ground, going to offices, meeting with customers, potential customers, and that's not possible anymore. Nobody's receiving visitors. Most other contractors or companies, their people are working from home as well. So we've implemented a new system of trying to make those same business contacts through internet sources, through phone calls, other methods, rather than the conventional, boots on the ground, meeting people face to face. And I think that's beneficial, because in the long run, whenever it may be, and the COVID is all behind us and everything is back to normal, we've got a new method of obtaining new customers.
And there was another part that you talked about in your business plan that was about acquiring equipment rather than leasing it, and the money that you've won and the money that you've acquired since through loans has helped you be more nimble and responsive. So tell them a little bit about that.
So a large part of the plan on my part was to try to acquire the equipment that I use on the projects to own rather than lease. So a lot of the stuff is expensive. It's very scarce to find. Most of it comes out of Louisiana. So if I have to lease a piece of equipment for a particular job, I incur extra costs shipping it to the job site, wherever that may be in the country, and then rental costs. So rather than me purchasing a piece of equipment, now I'm renting it for someone else, which lowers my bottom line. So this has allowed me, with the availability of the EIDL and the PPP, and the funds from the proceeds from the grant from HCC, to actually purchase a good bit of that equipment that prior I had to lease. So now the projects from henceforth, my margins will be better. I'll have more availability for the equipment and better response times.
This is so interesting. I wish I could go on and on forever, but thank you so much, John Hadley. And Sandra's going to come back with us on our next segment. This is so interesting.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're more than welcome. When we return from our break, we will continue our conversation with another business plan competition winner, Reda Hicks. And we're going to discuss what it takes to be a small business owner during the pandemic. Additionally, I want to remind everyone to check out our Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program under the Entrepreneurial Initiatives Department, who continue to have new cohorts this year as they have also transitioned online. You can get all of this information on their program at our website, which is hccs.edu/smallbusiness. This program continues to move forward towards its goal to help 10,000 small businesses. See if you qualify. We'll be right back.
Houston Community College is safe, clean, and open for learning. We're sanitizing our classrooms and reducing class sizes so you can feel good when you come back. Register now at hccs.edu/college your way.
Welcome back, everyone, to Our Community, Our Money, the Entrepreneur in You. I would like to welcome back Sandra, and I also have another winner, third place winner, Miss Reda Hicks, and she's going to tell us a little bit more. But before she gets started, I do have a question again for Sandra. Sandra, can you please tell our viewers how the entrepreneurs get involved in the competition? Like, what is the process for them to become a competitor in the competition?
They prepare throughout the year. The competition is for proposed startup and existing business owners. And we want them all to be, have already started working on their business assumptions prior to applying for the competition, because as I said before, it's a win just to get into the competition. And so they take a class or a program, either our Small Business Success Series by HCC, or we have an online CE class called Creating a Successful Business Plan, or they can take a college credit class that's about creating a business plan called at HCC called Small Business Management or Entrepreneurship and Economic Development. But we also have the competition open to people from outside of HCC who want to come in for this experience. So they also all take a one-day financial workshop, and they also can either go through the Liftoff Houston competition, the U of H Sure program, or the Houston Area Urban League Small Business University. And we consider those preparatory programs as well. So they apply in January. We review all the applications diligently, and then we select the top 25, 26 teams to move through the competition. And so people are already preparing this year to take a run at the competition next year.
That's amazing. I love it. So now I'm going to move on to Reda. Reda, Got, Spot, Inc. Please tell me what your business concept is, because I'm so excited to know what that is.
Absolutely. And I'm so excited to be here. Gotspot is short-term space for business. So think about like Airbnb, except for day rental of space your business might need, whether it's a storefront, warehouse, studio, any kind of space like that. We help people who have space available and people who need space be able to find one another and help each other's businesses grow.
How did you think about doing that? And how is that different from like the workspace concept?
It came from my experience as a military spouse. It's a population that are lots of freelancers, and so they are constantly looking for space for one-off opportunities. And I realized that entrepreneurs in general have that very same challenge. But then I'm a practicing attorney. I've been a bankruptcy attorney in Houston for about 15 years, and I've seen way too many great local businesses fold because of overhead. So to me, that looked like two problems that could solve each other with the right alignment at the bottom of the small business pyramid. And We are in some ways similar to the co-working that you're probably thinking about. Those are mostly desk models and mostly monthly models. So we look at them as channel partners. We help them sometimes with day rental of space in order to bring more people into their spaces. But we also capture much larger inventory of space than just offices. So we're warehouses or commercial kitchens or studios or storefronts, basically anything awesome on Main Street that the person in that space has extra capacity and they're letting another small business use it in order to grow their business.
That's how you separate yourself from them. That's amazing. So now I'm going to ask you the same thing I asked John. How did this competition help you to better your business?
For me, the business plan competition really helped me two big ways. One of them was we were, halfway through it when the pandemic hit, and I started receiving requests for space for emergency response activities. And so we did a little bit of a micro pivot into a program that we're calling Rescue Spot, where we help put emergency response activities into space, just like we would business activities. And being in the program and having my two mentors working with me in that micro pivot and thinking through how to do it was really, really useful. The other thing that was really helpful for me is that having the structure of going through the business plan competition had me using the, downtime of the pandemic to think critically about strategic questions and get a lot of clarity on things like my finances and operational structure and those kinds of things that have positioned me sort of in the next few months, once we get onto a little bit surer market footing, to be ready for fundraising.
So you pivoted, it helped you to figure out a way to pivot and micro pivot during the pandemic. That's awesome. So you were already going through the competition, and then it helped you to figure out how to continue doing what you're doing and do it even better to add. Well, that's so great. So I also would like to know, because you have this unique model, what type of marketing do you do to get the word out about your company and all the things that you have to offer?
So far, most of the marketing for GodSpot has been very organic, word of mouth. I'm deeply plugged in the Houston community across a really broad spectrum, professionally and civically. And what I have learned is that when you're talking about business space, really the key component is trust. So being able to leverage those trusted relationships to start, sending me people who have space and sending me people who need space was really how we got the nucleus going. Now we're starting to think through, okay, what's the strategic way to spend money to acquire customers? And with seekers, it's a really big social media play, because a lot of small businesses, that's where they're finding their own lead gen and their own, referrals. And then with the commercial real estate community, it's a lot more traditional marketing and working through local associations and things like that. And fortunately, one of my mentors is deeply embedded in that space, and he was helping me think through what that outreach might look like.
Very interesting. So in about 30 seconds or less, tell me, what is the one thing about the competition that you felt really, really stood out to you and helped you the most?
I really do think it's how hard it makes you think about the details of your business, because when you're just hustling to keep growing every day, it's easy to not sweat the small stuff. And then suddenly you realize, oh man, I really need to take some time to look under the hood of my business and give it a tune up and think through some of those questions I've let slide. So giving me the framework to do that was very, very helpful to me.
Thank you so much for being here with me today and answering all of these questions. That's going to help a lot of people. So we'll see you later, and I'm going to move on to the next segment, but I wanted to tell our viewers the HCC Business Plan Competition is such an interesting and informative opportunity for businesses and students. So we're going to continue our conversation with yet another winner. This time it will be Christa Clarke, Cubicles to Cocktails. I cannot wait to find out more about that business. So please remember that the Entrepreneurial Initiatives Department has so many unique areas under its department. There are so many opportunities and resources available for entrepreneurs through our department, such as the Corporate College. The Corporate College is in partnership with the Texas Workforce Commission and the Skills Development Fund and the Skills for Small Business program that can be used to train employees at no cost to your business. To access more information about the Corporate College and many other resources, visit our website at hccs.edu/smallbusiness. We'll be right back.
There's no better place to knock out the basics than HCC. Whether you learn online, on campus, or both, HCC is the safe, flexible, affordable option. Register now at hccs.edu/college your way.
Welcome back, everyone. In this segment, we will continue our conversation with our next HCC Business Plan Competition Honorable Mention winner, Christa, and we'll also continue speaking with Sandra Louvier. And before I get to Christa, I just want to again ask Sandra. Sandra, you know, with the pandemic and everything, how are you getting students to be a part of the competition? How are you marketing for your program now that you have to transition completely online?
We have moved to virtual delivery of our upcoming Small Business Success Series. And so we'll be putting some more information out about that. It'll start later in August, and there'll be a great opportunity for people to move through a pretty deep program virtually with a lot of interaction with small group breakouts within a class. And so we're excited about that because that's pivoting and becoming innovative about a class moving through a little cohort over a period of about 5 weeks in 10 sessions virtually. So it's going to be pretty amazing. And there's going to be a lot more like that coming through in the fall for with opportunities for people to just keep getting ready, going deeper with their plan, and then the chance to move through the competition and win some prize money like these guys did.
So now I want to get to Christa Clarke. Can you please tell our audience about Cubicles to Cocktails? This is a very unique and different concept. I've never heard of it. So can you explain to us what that's all about?
So Cubicles to Cocktails is a media technology platform where Black and Brown career women can find community as well as culturally responsive career development resources so that they could advance in their careers while they're building their networks. We're a newsletter first community, so we do send out a weekly newsletter to our community members where we're sharing with them resources that we gather from across the internet, as well as events and current events that are relevant to their careers and lifestyles.
So where does the cocktails come in?
The inspiration behind Cubicles to Cocktails came from me having my own happy hours with my mentor, as well as some of my closest friends who are also young professionals. And we would commiserate over the experiences of being the only woman of color in the workplace or even in leadership. A lot of times you deal with microaggressions, with people overlooking you for opportunities. And so that can be quite frustrating. So these happy hour experiences for us was a place for us to be able to vent, but then also to practice advocating for ourselves, as well as gain the resources and advice that is particular and specific to our unique workplace situations. And so Cubicles to Cocktails, when I launched in 2018, I was hosting soirees. And so we would get together in person for networking and cocktails. And then we would transition to doing panel conversations as well as workshops that brings in that career advice.
Now that we have the pandemic and you can't have that social interaction where you're having your cocktails with all of the ladies and networking, what are you doing now for that part?
So this is like, to me, like the being part of the business plan competition has been just basically being in the right place at the right time. I was already in a position where I was looking to bring my community online. Currently, we operate through a social media channel as well as our online blog site, and working with my business advisors and really critiquing the weaknesses and strengths in my business plan, I was able to create a business model where we are now working on expanding our digital platform by bringing our community into a social space online with the intention to build out a mobile application to house all of our resources under one type of system that's easily accessible. In addition, we simply pivoted our events to virtual events. There's amazing technology platforms out there that we've been able to use, from Zoom and also considering Hop-In. And so those are some avenues that we've been able to do to continue hosting our virtual events online.
What is the most you have gotten out of the business plan competition that helped you to get where you are today?
So for me, I was at the point in my business where I really needed strong business advisors. And through the HCC business plan competition, I was connected with 3 amazing business entrepreneurs in Houston. And we work to really tweak my marketing plan is one. My marketing plan for my business model, in order for my business model to work efficiently, I need to be known. And you can't really rely on like the traditional channels for that. You really need to think about growth marketing as well as public relations to get your name out there. Janice Jucker was one of my business advisors. So she actually helped to start my PR campaign post-competition, where she pitched me to several media outlets. And by being featured on KHOU, for instance, as a hero next door, I was able to grow my email list by 44%. So those are the type of strategies that we have worked together to build into my business plan, as well as really strengthening my financial projections.
So I'm going to ask Sandra a quick question. Sandra, tell us about the new name, and you're director of the Entrepreneurship Center, and it has a new name, and I'm going to let you tell our viewers all about that. Can you tell us about that as well?
Sure, and I also want to add one thing about what Christa was saying, because they've all alluded to it. We have 50 volunteer advisors that help us in the competition. And so these little small group interactions, as well as the big group effort, is the thing that makes our programs kind of magical. And the Small Business Success Series is going to be like that too. So I just say thank you to all the advisors and the sponsors of the business plan competition. And I want to thank David Regenbaum. He has been an entrepreneur in residence, a leader in the competition, and a trainer in the competition. And he's also president of the HEC Foundation. I've been working with him for 5 years now, one-on-one on a daily basis in our Center for Entrepreneurship. And he has recently donated $100,000 to HCC to empower the efforts that we're undertaking with the Center for Entrepreneurship. So we've renamed it the Glenda and David Regenbaum Center for Entrepreneurship at HCC Northwest. And we're just so proud to have had that happen, to continue to work with David on a daily basis, and to unfold more programs and grow them as we move forward.
Thank you so much for letting us know about this new name and everything that you're doing with all of these wonderful businesses and business owners. I want to thank everyone today, Sandra, John, Reda, and Christa, for being here today. And as always, I would like to share this tip for future entrepreneurs, and this one comes from Colin Powell. There are no secrets to success. It is the result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure. Until next time, thank you for watching Our Community, Our Money, the Entrepreneur in You.